Hello from the Dreamport Discord server. I'm Shadows Pub, bringing you Pimp Your Post Thursday. On the show today, we'll share posts, meet others, and have some fun. You can share your own posts or someone else's you really like. To take part, drop the PYPT emoji into the show text channel. I'll add you to the list to take a turn sharing posts. When I call on you, add your post link to the text channel and come on voice to tell us about it. Keep it brief, like a short commercial for the post. If you can't do voice, it's okay. You can share by text, but text and link must be ready to paste into the text channel when I call on you. You can have more than one turn, but you must use the emoji for each turn. Okay, let's get started. And Amy will lead us off. She has taken Amir's spot as the first emoji dropper. And Amy says, "Can I detect the lies? If I told you I can make clothes, I can barb, I can make hair, and I can fix a generator, one is probably a huge lie. Hold on, it's not the one you think it is. I can assure you that the way I fabricated the lie makes it hard for you to detect which one is a lie. Okay, let's see if you can detect the lies. Just click to read and then detect the lies. It was fun writing this, an entry for the nonfiction story Two Truths and a Lie. Aha! Nothing like testing out how good of a liar you can be. Okay. And Grindan, you are up.
Sorry, I
There.
was grabbing the link from my computer. So this is a post by Belikas, who I'm sure a lot of people here know. Um, I wanted to share it because she's very sick right now. She has both typhoid fever and malaria.
Good Lord.
And she talks a little bit about just the struggle of that, how she's been feeling. And I think it'd be really nice to stop by and wish her well, since she's, such a such a regular PYP contributor. So hopefully she feels better soon.
That's got to be really hard in the system having both of them at the same time.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. It's
Yeah.
scary.
Fox, you can use whichever front end you want to. I usually end up changing them all to peak D for uniformity when I do the recap, but use the one you're comfortable with. So how long has she had this?
According to her post, I think it came on about a week ago. And then she just got really rapidly sick. So she's been on medication, from what it sounds like, for like 4 or 5 days. So she's kind of, coming back to herself, but still just feeling very rough.
I'll bet. It's going to take her a while to recover.
I miss her. I hope she gets better soon. Hi, Emery. You want to say hi?
Good idea to drop by and wish her the best.
Definitely.
Thank you, Granddad.
Thank you.
And Sam, you're up.
Hey, Shadows.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, this is a post by Dreamsteam, who's having a little rest at the moment. And this is starting off at we were up in Scotland, in Kirkcaldy. So it's just a little intro into the little area where we were staying and what we did on the one morning. So yeah, it's a nice little Wednesday walk, just in a local area, very unlocal to her. But yeah, it's a nice little bout around the coast on Scotland, in Scotland.
Okay, so the Scots drop the L, do they?
Yes, they dropped the L. I mean, we all thought it was like oh, we're going to stay in Kirkcaldy, and Tango Latodo was like, it's not Kirkcaldy, it's Kirkcaldy. So yeah,
So do they always drop their L or just in certain words?
I I have no idea. But I'll tell you one thing now, though. I mean, I've got a lot of colleagues up in Scotland, um, because one of our shareholders is a big Scottish company. So I speak with a lot of Scottish people up there, and every time I name a place, I say, "Oh, so what about what's happening in this place?" They always go, "What place? What?" And then I say, "Spell it." I'll spell it, and they go, "No, man, that's called something else, completely different." So yeah, it's they pronounce. At least it's not as bad as Wales. Wales, I couldn't even go near trying to pronounce what's in there, but I can usually get close enough with the Scots for them to understand what I'm talking about.
We
But
had
yeah,
some
just a little
we had
insight.
some guys involved in the Legion that were originally from Scotland. They'd immigrated to Canada.
Hmm.
Uh, it was not uncommon for us to go to the mic and go, "Could we have a translation to that report?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I see Dreams done. She's done the Ola the meetup at Olawalian,
Mm-hmm.
and I see she's done this one here, and I suspect she'll have some more coming as well. Because we've done a few more other things. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
should be nice.
Good.
All right, thank you.
Grindan says Welsh is an intimidating language. So that's separate from Scottish
Absolutely.
being intimidating. Cute.
Oh, yeah.
And Amy, you're up. There we go. Now she's going to come on voice. If you're telling us you have it unmiked, you can unmute now, Amy. Ah, no, she's not. Okay. She says, I was wowed by this, how creative a young mind can be, sketching his grandmother from scratch using a method his art teacher taught him. The outcome was quite impressive, so I thought of sharing this link here so that y'all can see how talented this young man is. Okay. I think Amy has just decided she's going to make me talk for her today. Okay. Q, you're up. And now's a good time to drop some more emojis, folks. There we are.
This is my post I made. I,
Come a little closer to
so,
your mic.
what is it? Can I hear you?
You sound kind of distant.
Okay, I think maybe. Okay, is it okay like this?
Much better.
Okay. So this was a post I made um, to the Hive Learners community. So it's all about education. So we are to discuss if education is probably free. So what are the consequences? How will it affect the standard of education? So I made my own contribution so by writing this post, and I gave my own reasons why I think the higher education shouldn't be something free. So you can just check my post and read more about it. Thank you.
Yeah, free education, like free healthcare isn't actually free. We pay for it in our taxes.
Yes, I believe that. So because it's going to even be flooded if something is just totally free. So and it won't have the value it needs.
It's always good to look at whether we're getting value for money.
I didn't hear you.
Since we all collectively pay for it, we all have the collective right to have a look at the value of it.
Yes, that's right.
Well done. Thank you, Abdul
Yes,
Kudus.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Pirate Q. Got a choice of
Yes, ma'am.
names with you, don't I? Okay, Amy, you're up. And there she goes again. What's with hiding your voice today, Amy? She's typing an answer. It should be there by the time I get down to there in the reading. It says, if you show them your flaws, would they still love you? In a sea of people, would they still search for you and choose you again and again? If your hair is a mess and you got no makeup on, would they love you beyond that surface? Don't you just wish to be loved for being you? This poem emphasizes how hard it is to be. And of course, you're going to have to read the poem to find out how hard it is. Oh, it's cracky. Okay, you're forgiven then. And Sam, you're up.
So this is a post by Grocco. It's a fiction post in response to the Dream Word of the Week Invisible prompt. And it's a very moving story, hauntingly sad. And yeah, I think it just, if you look at the comments on the post, it touched quite a few people. So I just thought it was worth sharing for him in this forum. But yeah, if you enjoy sad stories or you just want something that's going to touch and move you, then give it a go.
Sometimes there's just nothing but the feels, eh?
Nothing like the feels. And he writes really well. I mean, he's a great writer. So if you've read his work before, you'll enjoy him.
I don't know that I have, actually. I guess it's time I did.
Yeah, he's big in Scholar and Scribe with Geordie and Dabs. So yeah.
Oh, is this the one that was the Scribe Writer of the Year?
Yeah, he did the Scribe, Scholar and Scribe Writer of the Year series. Yeah.
This is the teenager.
No.
Rocco ran the initiative. Okay, the teenager's
Yeah.
another one.
Yeah, she's the one who won it.
Grace Pro is the one,
Basically,
right?
yeah. She was one who was Scribe of the Year. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
Old School can't come into, well, he can come into the voice channel, but it won't do him any good, so he's one of the few that get away with not being in voice and being able to participate. And we'll give him a moment to respond. There we go.
Well, he's actually in the voice channel today. Listen.
Oh, maybe his connections have improved. Oh, I didn't look down far enough to see him there. Okay, and Old School says, an adventure into another dimension. It's a little bit of everything. The Invisible World of Reef Rocket. That is quite the image. How did you create that? I don't know if he's hearing very well. He's typing. He might have. We'll let him type and see what we get. Yeah, that wouldn't be a stock image someplace, I would expect. Okay, Kara, you're up. Oh, yes, our Devon.
So just a fun little post today about Blewett and his family's visit to sort of a petting zoo, alpaca farm kind of thing And this one caught my attention specifically because I just had some friends who were in Australia. So I've been following along with their trip on Facebook where they post all of their stuff. And I was especially charmed by their visit with the alpacas. So I think alpacas have just sort of been in my area of focus for the last few days. But there were some cute photos in this that just caught my attention.
We have an alpaca farm on the other side of the village from where I am.
Used to be one not far from where I lived as a kid, but I don't know where one is around here. Perhaps I shall Google that and see if I can find out.
There you go. The fruit stand or vegetable stand that I often visited when I was out and around more, they had an alpaca kind of wandering the grounds. The only thing was that you were kind of warned not to approach it.
Right? They can be a little nasty if they want to be.
Yeah, they can be. It gets interesting. And Fuji, you're up. Alexander says that she's heard that some alpacas love to hug. I've heard they like to spit.
I've never heard about the hugging ones.
Neither have I.
Sounds suspicious. Okay, so post I'm sharing. Just recently completed publishing the first episode of my Hunting Midnight story in Scholar and Scribe. And instead of doing a regular contest, in between episodes, I'm trying this thing where we do a read list and review challenge. It's kind of two contests in one. If you want to write a review, there's, I think, one slot left. I opened up 5 slots for people to jump in and write a review. An honest review doesn't need to be glowing. And I'm giving a little stipend of 15 SBI and 15 Hive for people who help me spread the word in different communities. And the read list challenge is a separate contest. I'd like more people too that actually want to read the story, get on the read list, which is where you get a ping on every new part that comes out. So if you manage to refer someone to the read list, I give the referee both an SBI, and then I raffle off 1 SBI to the whole read list. So if you're already on the read list, you're getting involved in raffles every time someone does this. It's just a way to give back, and SBI is such a great little Hive generation and supporting token, very win-win. This is my latest attempt to spread the word and try new ways of doing reader engagement on Hive. So it's an experiment, and we'll see how it goes.
Good stuff. I received a script this morning that I'm supposed to read and review. I hadn't better take a second review on. And Miss Alessandra, are you being a little saucy this morning? The alpacas want Shadow's hug?
Yes, a little saucy.
Well, at least he didn't throw in green beans.
Oh my god.
Good job. Thank you, Jordy. And Amy, you're up. Amy, are you with us? Maybe Cracky went to... Ah, there we go. Thought maybe the sound disappeared on her. And this one, she says, this was a contest on the Weekend Experience community. Galen P wanted to know what our least favorite thing about being a lady is. To be honest, it's a lot of being a lady, the packaging from head to toe. Wigs, brasiers, menstrual cramps, yeah, just read on. The funniest part about this post is the fact that most ladies could relate to it. The comments were hilarious, and you could share thoughts too. That's kind of an odd question for a guy to post. And good for you for taking it on. Yes, Amy's got quite good at the cliffhangers. Abdul Kudus, you're up. Ah, I see. Dreamsteam must have stumbled out of bed. I heard a rumor you were sleeping.
Okay. This is a post by Princess Busayo. So I think it's also an entry to the iBlender edition, week 46, maybe edition 1. So she told us what she wouldn't do or what she would not do for this huge amount of money. I think is around $600 million. Yes. So the amount of money is huge. So people might do and undo just because of such an amount of money. But she's telling us in her content that there are some things she can't do. So you can just try to read and get to know more about what she told us there. Thank you.
Well, she's giving you some simple options.
Yeah.
What will port 9 do for you? I'll give you one more than port 8. You did ask, didn't you, Alessandra?
I still don't know what's going on with Discord. I'm like, there's these levels on the Mi 6 bot, and I come over here and they're called ports, and I'm like, oh my god, when will I learn this?
Of course they're called ports. You're in Dream Port.
Of course, Dreamy customized it, didn't she?
Haha.
And ripped it of its A's if it has 2 vowels.
Yeah.
It's an A extraction.
So there's a bot that I had in the Ramble, and it had this long name. It was like Takasami or something like that. And I just went, oh, I can change the name of the bot. So it became the Shadows bot or Shadows Pup or something to that effect.
Wait, what? You can change the name of the bot?
So, on
like
some
a
of them,
nickname?
on some of them you can.
Oh.
So I called it Shadows Pup because Rhonda K, when I was in her Discord, she had a habit of calling me Shadows Pup instead of Shadows Pub.
I wondered where that came from. Your alter ego.
Yeah. Shadows Pup. So it was a tease to Rhonda, and she caught it right away.
Well, it rolls off the tongue better than Shadow's alpaca.
It definitely, and Shadows Alpaca is not going to be a thing. It ain't happening. Kitty Girl, you're up.
Well, this is a post from Millie CF. I shared a couple of her posts a few months ago. She and her husband were living on an aeroboat on the canals in England, and they've sold the boat and became landlubbers again, at least temporarily. They've flown to Jamaica. She's visiting family there. That's where she was born and raised. And she said that she is getting a lot of cat calls on some of the streets in Jamaica. Apparently, that's a real thing there. And I'm sure all of the women in here will resonate at least a little bit with this post, if not completely. And I do hope the gentlemen in here will be appalled at what some other gentlemen do. Well, I say gentlemen, they're not gentlemen.
Males.
making lewd and crude remarks at strange females on the street. It's unbelievable. And sometimes it gets very aggressive. Sometimes it's very frightening. It depends on the situation. Whether you're alone or not depends on where you are, whether it's daytime or nighttime, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it can be very intimidating and very frightening. But she talks a little bit in the post about her experiences with this. And the comments, too, are worth reading as well. There's been some good comments left on the post. So give it some love, please.
It kind of reflects in some ways how much our society has changed because in some areas it was not uncommon to be happening in this particular neck of the woods. And I think anybody trying it right now would find themselves in peril from both genders.
Well, it does still happen, believe it or not.
It doesn't surprise me.
or at least it does to the younger people. I mentioned in the comment that I'm in my 60s now, so I've kind of been passed by on that. I said that might be one of the few benefits of getting older.
Yeah, that is true. Okay, thank you, Kitty Girl. And Old School, you're up. Hopefully you heard that. If not, we'll tell them. Dream says it was interesting. I love when you catch something different in those things. Today, one of the soldiers was late, so we caught him on video running to catch up to the group. At the changing the guard, and they were late. He'll be in some trouble. And I don't imagine it'll be just a simple talking to. Old School says a fun, interactive, and informal contest. Win Hive or Recency points. Everyone gets something if they play. So there you go. Check out the contest. There's no shortage of contests on Hive if you're looking for something to do or to try out. And Amy, you're up. There we go. And Kimmy took for granted her good eyesight and faced the consequences a few weeks before her examinations. Suddenly, the print became blurry, and the librarian suggested she see an ophthalmologist. Was the damage beyond repair? Find out as you read this fictional story. An entry for last week's prompt, Vision. Glasses fix most things, but not everything. And NChem, you're up. Good time to drop some emojis, folks. Okay, NChem, come on and tell us about this.
Hello, hello everyone.
Hi, NChem.
Good day. So about the post, we are in the world where people do a lot of things just for money, both men and women. And in this post is a context from Hive Learners. I shared my thoughts and what I cannot do because of money, even when I needed it most. There are some things I cannot do, no matter how it is on my side. So I listed those things and the reasons why I can't do that for money. That's all about the post. Thank you.
Things I will never do if offered $1,000,000.
Yes.
Good to hear you back, NChem.
What?
I said good to hear you back.
Thank you.
And Amy, you're up. Amy, there she is. And Amy says, the hassles of working with various fabrics as a designer are quite challenging. I discussed the reasons why I love working with scuba fabrics. I've never heard of them. And how scuba fabrics become a beautiful outfit. click to see the process of making this beautiful outfit, but made by who? And it's just a click away. Okay, so guys, I did mention that it was a good time to drop emojis. Amy was the last on the list. Who's next? There we go. Go for it, Grindan.
This post is by It's So Stylish. I really liked it because it takes you on a really unique perspective, a journey throughout time. So I hope you give it a read and enjoy it too.
That's an interesting image she's got there. I'm assuming there's one laid over another.
Yeah, I think she does a lot of her editing of images on Canva and always comes up with really unique just setups. She's very talented.
She is, and with her writing too.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Thank you, Grindan. And Kitty Girl.
I'll say Amy has dropped another emoji before
Oh,
mine.
she did. Thank you for catching that. Okay, Amy, you're up. And I'll just put those counter emojis on before they get forgotten. And then I really lose track of everything. Then we'll see what Amy's got to say here. Amy says, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? I wrote a detailed picture of where I hope to be in 5 years. You're stressing me out? I don't know that that's possible, Amy, but okay. Apology received. Yeah, that's quite a an image. Did you create that, Amy? So did you draw it yourself, or were you able to create it using a design program? So I'll wait for her to answer that. And Pravesh says that he can't hear it because he's got himself deafened. Did it yourself. Good for you. Okay, Kitty Girl, you're up.
Well, this is a post by a young lady that I discovered 2 or 3 weeks ago, quite by accident. I think she's a very good writer. She writes in a very no nonsense approach, but she embellishes her writing with all of this raw emotion and feeling. It's hard to describe actually. But she's talking in this post about these stilty-legged birds that are feeding in the sand, and she goes on to allude to how they're digging in the sand just like we're digging in life as humans, you know, stabbing around trying to eke out our existence. It's very existential writing, and she puts in a lot of subtle humor in there, like she was talking about the stilty-legged birds, and they're not being rumpled by such and such. So it's kind of an allusion to the old Rumpelstiltskin fairy tale, very subtle humor in there like that. And I love her style of writing. So it's definitely worth checking out a couple of her posts, and seeing if it resonates with you. It's really cool.
And I take it she's been around for a little while. She's got a rep of
Yeah, she
72.
has. It doesn't really look like she's got as much traction on the platform as she deserves, though. Um, because, like I said, I find her to be a very, very creative writer. And yeah, people should be gobbling up her stuff, just like Brendan and Bimir and some other people in here, are excellent writers too. She should be right up there with all of those other people.
She maybe doesn't take the time to get around and interact with others.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if she's on Discord or not. Maybe we need to invite her.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I think there's a lot of Hivians who don't realize that there's value to be on Discord. Particularly in communities like this one and the terminal and Ecency.
Well, it's hard for people to understand at first. I know when I first came on the Hive back in 2017, I got an invite to Discord within the first month that I'd been here, and it was like I just got, of course, back in those days it was the Steam blockchain, not Hive. And I was thinking to myself, I just got here to Steam, and now you're trying to drag me off of Steam to some other place called Discord. What's up with that?
Yep.
And I didn't understand. It's like a continuum. It's a place where people from the blockchain come to network and socialize with each other, and then it finally the light bulb came on.
So, Kara, I think a lot of it is the fact that the one main thing that um, Hive doesn't have is something like this, the social audio aspect, where people can come on and get to know each other a little bit better. So that means that you've really only got the comments to get to know people. But yeah, what Kitty Girl said is very true, and I still see the odd one today, like, I'm not going off of Hive in order to get to know people. Well, okay, but you're probably not going to get to know people.
I definitely wouldn't have joined Discord if it weren't for this and for Creative Work Hour. Those two things are what got me there, and now I don't know how I lived without it.
Yeah. I've been chuckling over on Twitter because I've mentioned being on Discord in I don't know how many Twitter Spaces, and it's always kind of like, oh, I don't do Discord, or they just ignore the fact that it exists. And the minute Discord or Twitter started looking a little dicey, all of a sudden people have discovered Discord and they think it's wonderful. Well, Jordy, there is actually a messaging system for Hive. It's in its early stages, and I'm trying to remember. I believe it's hive.pm, and what it's doing is it's utilizing the memo field in our wallets, but it's in a framework where you can go back and forth instead of having to go in and check in your wallet. So there's what looks like a fee of 0.001 Hive, but it's actually going back and forth because when I send a message, it gets sent to the person I'm messaging.
But there's
Go ahead.
There's dBuzz, which is a Twitter-like app on the Hive blockchain.
Yeah, this Hive.pm is actually developed by dBuzz, and it's for private communication.
Oh, I didn't realize it was the same team that did that.
Yeah,
Tell them the story of when we were on Hive Space and you and Jennifer are off playing in the Hive.pm playground, and I'm running the show. It was hilarious.
So Alexander hosts it, and myself and ePodcaster co-host with her, and we were interviewing Nathan and Chris from dBuzz, and he had mentioned the Hive, Hive.pm. So here's Jennifer and I over there testing out Hive.pm and sending messages back and forth while Alexander's busy interviewing these two guys. And she says, so how could we try out Hive.pm? And Jennifer pipes up and says, oh, Shadows and I have been doing that for the last while.
Oh, yeah, they were cracking up like teenagers.
Lightweight Hive chat application. Would that have been the Hive.pm that you discovered, Jordy? I'm just scrolling down through the messages here, catching up. Discord's more fun. Twitter, I believe, is more political than fun or social. Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Bemier. All right, there is some sort of a messaging thing built into PYPT, isn't there?
Well, they have the BChat integration. That might be what he's thinking about.
Ah, would that be the chat room that Jordy? Oh, it wasn't BChat. It was another one. Well, it's good to know that they're working on them. Although I think with as robust as Discord is, it'll be hard to drag people off of Discord.
Yeah, BChat is more like DMs between two people, although I think you could probably put 2 or 3 or 4 in one conversation.
Yeah, and that actually is a good, that ability is there over on Twitter, where you can have groups in text chat. So you can take it off the main Twitter feed and bring it into a group.
I'm not familiar with one that's like a chat room, though, but I have noticed, though, that a lot of devs are coming up with these new dApps, and they're not listing them on Hive.io or on Hive projects. And so it's hard to find information about them.
Yeah, that is frustrating. Jordy came across it in some random wanderings. Note-taking, Jordy. Note-taking. Although I don't note everything down either. They're devs. They're not marketers. And a lot of times they're not even communicators.
Well, if you come across a new dApp on the blockchain that you really like, ask the developer, has he listed it with Hive.io and or Hive projects? And if he does, that would give him a lot more traction.
So is the Inkwell and Scholar and Scribe not kind of writers' guilds? Or are you thinking something different, Grindan? You guys can come on voice, when we're doing this.
No, I'm scared to talk. I mean, that is a really good point. I guess just if there's an active pool of writers with like their skills listed where devs could reach out or, whatever, and just kind of say like, oh, hey, I'm interested in help, getting help, because a lot of these posts, for things that people are working on are so hard to understand for the average person.
Yeah, there's kind of a unwritten rule that if you want to have a well-written help document for something, you don't let the engineers or the techs that worked on it write that document.
Exactly, and I think that that's just a little bit of a issue in Hive getting transparency currently. Or transparency, I'm getting noticed. I'm so tired today.
Fox has said, I think we have this topic post here in Hive, but they all disappear far behind many posts. Yeah, that's one complication with a blogging type setup. And Georgie's got a point too. He thinks that big issue is the vast majority of devs don't consider marketing as a thing that needs any priority. Yeah, build it and they will come. They won't be able to find you, but they'll come, maybe, when they find you. Okay, Abdul Kudus, you're up. Yeah, if the good product's good enough, it'll market itself. I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay.
This is a post written by Jane. So I think I knew her quite some while ago, when maybe on Read Cash. So I knew her on Read Cash. She's a good writer. So she's from the Philippines, but now I think she's based in Hong Kong. So this was a recent throwback of her post when I think she said she's checking her gallery. Then she saw pictures of when she was still a caregiver. So what I just want us to learn from this post is that we all need that help at that stage when we grow older. So she was like accusing, or maybe let me say, asking questions about why children don't care for their parents again when they get older. So it's still like a mystery. They care for us when we were younger, and it's our responsibility to care for them when they grow older. So that's, you can just check on the post and read and enjoy. Thank you.
The giver of care. Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, Jane's a pretty decent writer.
she's a writer.
Yeah, pretty decent. Old school. You're up. Not sure if he's actually hearing. And who have we got here? This says NCAM 1 the 1 HBI. Congrats, NCAM. And emojis now would be a good timing. There's old school. Let's see him typing. And old school says, please leave an encouraging comment and some support. Gifts from the postwoman. Okay. Okay, the list is empty. What happened? This must be a slow news day. Yeah, see Amy typing there. Not sure what she's typing. We'll find out. Okay, does anyone else have anything they'd like to share today? I see some typing. I'm waiting. Okay, kitty girl, go for it.
Well, since no one else has something, I'll pull this up. I hadn't originally planned to share it, but this is a lady, Carolyn Stahl, that is one of the very first people I ever followed when I came onto the blockchain, and I'm still following her. I love her posts. Uh, when she travels, she does some really good travel posts. When she's not traveling, she shares food posts because she actually works in the food industry and she is very creative. She has developed as a vegan a lot of really yummy looking recipes that don't involve, any meat or animal products, even eggs and milk. She always uses plant-based alternatives. But anybody that is a meat eater, of course, could brown some ground beef or some chicken or whatever and put in these recipes that she makes. But this is nachos, and I think it's very creative how she's used several different types of peppers and other ingredients that other people probably wouldn't include in nachos. But it makes me want to reach through the screen and grab one. It's just really good looking.
Well, that's an interesting concept.
Yeah, and she says sometimes she makes her own tortilla things from scratch, using the tortilla flour and all this stuff. This time she bought ready-made tortillas and just cut them and cooked them herself. But yeah, a lot of leeway can be done in these recipes of hers. If you don't like hot stuff, you just leave out the jalapenos. If you like it hotter, put some habaneros in there too. It's a lot of flexibility.
I very much like my meat, but I don't mind some plant-based stuff. But I don't know that I will ever remove dairy items.
Yeah, that would be my biggest holdback too in going vegan is not being able to have eggs and butter and cheese and milk. Although there are vegan alternatives I have heard that taste almost exactly like the real thing. In fact, I think I shared a recipe of hers a few months ago where she took these mushrooms. They're called lion's mane mushrooms, and when they're cooked, they have the same texture and everything as chicken. And so you can use those in recipes that call for chicken. It's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, it can have the same texture, but it's not going to have the same flavor. I know some people don't mind making the change, but yeah, I don't think I would.
Yeah, now going vegetarian is different because vegetarians will use dairy products, and that makes things a whole lot easier.
Yeah, like I don't use a lot of dairy. Well, I do go through a fair amount of cheese, but
And cream.
and cream when I'm drinking coffee. But coffee hasn't been very frequent these days. So who knows when
Oh,
the
really?
water
Why
Where's
is that?
water?
when the water gets fixed, I might go back to a pot a day, or I may go back to a pot every other day. I don't know. The shift in the coffee is just that it uses water up faster, kitty girl.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
Because I make when I make coffee, I make a pot of coffee. I don't make just a cup. I do have one of those single serving Keurig sitting here, but I've just got away from using it.
Pravesh is always so good with just the right gif.
Oh, Jordy's going to subscribe for coffee consumption updates. I guarantee you, there won't be very many of them. It'll be either I'm drinking it or I'm not. Grindan, what do you got to share with us? It was good to see you, old school.
Sorry, my son's gonna help me present this one.
Oh, good.
This is Snook's post. She has a fresh kind of fun rating idea, or perhaps I guess you could say an older idea as well, because it's drawn from inspiration from some of her experiences earlier in Hive, in the free writers community, and it's just kind of a project for everybody. Come on, sweetie. Sorry, everyone. Here, go. I don't know why babies get so angry when you try to change.
Pardon me?
I don't know why babies get so angry when you try to change them. So Snook is planning to do kind of a writers collective there, so I think it looks like a lot of fun, and I wanted to share that. Sorry again for the baby screaming.
Time for scary things never happens because they are tricky and you want to avoid looking like a fool or wasting your time. Question then becomes, when do you grow as a person, artist, writer, or speaker of boring things? So that's when you try new things. There you go. So check out what Snook's up to because she's probably going to take you on a trip of some sort.
anything involving Snook is bound to be fun. Yes.
God help us the day that Snook and Dreamsteam decide to collaborate on something. And Grindan won 3 HBI. Okay, Amy, what do you got for us? Amy? Yes, Snook made me do it. I thought we made that into an Alessandra made us do it. Okay, check out my advertising skills. It's a picture prompt. So I thought to do an advert. Come all, come one. Come and shop on the market by the valley side. It's poetry though. How did I do? Find out. And don't forget to leave her a comment on how she did. Leave her a comment and tell her that you checked it out on PYPT so she knows that you are responding to her challenge. Okay. And do we have any others? We've got 9 minutes before the next winner is drawn. Fox says he must jump off. How do you jump without a P or an M? So Bluefin asked a question up in general last night. Who are your 3 favorite witnesses? And first, let's get this question out of the way. Who doesn't know what witnesses are? Ah, Pravesh?
Yeah, I have a vague idea, but I couldn't explain it to somebody else.
Okay. So
I think Pravesh is pulling our leg. I think he knows what a witness is.
I would think so. If he doesn't, he ought to be writing a report on them. Shush. So Pravesh, I understand you hang around in the terminal. I don't think it's possible to hang around the terminal and not know what witnesses were, unless you're just sitting there keeping your mouth shut and listening to nothing. So you don't need to shush Kitty Girl, because I know these things. So Kara, to answer your question, the nodes that the chain runs on are run by people called witnesses. We vote on the witnesses, and the witnesses that end up being in the top 20 are considered to be the governance of the chain.
And by the nodes that the chain run on, do you mean like things like high or like peak D and ecency, or something farther down in the sort of world than that?
Further down, think of the servers that Web 2 runs on.
Oh, okay.
The difference being that with the nodes, the witness servers are carrying the whole chain.
Got it. Okay. All right. Witnesses are at the server level. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Remember, we've talked about the fact that the chain will be here until the last witness quits?
Yep.
That's why.
Okay.
So if you
Yeah,
haven't...
and if you're familiar with other blockchains, some other blockchains refer to the witnesses as block producers. So you might be more familiar with that term.
Or if you're over on one like Lunk, which is the old Luna, they're called validators over there. Yeah, or nodes. There's different names used. So the thing is that we get to vote on those witnesses, and if you haven't voted on them, it's a good time to start thinking about going and doing so. So that would be the reason that Blue put, it's time to name your 3 favorite witnesses.
Got it.
It's quite interesting.
If you are totally...
Go ahead,
Go ahead,
Kitty Girl.
Shadow.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you're totally clueless about what witnesses to vote for, you can cheat by going to hive.blog, clicking on the link for witness, scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, and there's a place where you can designate another person on the blockchain to be your proxy, and say that you set up Shadow's Plub as your proxy. Any witness she votes for, your account will automatically vote for. And then once you've been on the chain for a while and you begin to learn about the different witnesses and what they believe in and how they want to run the chain, you can drop that proxy and start voting on the witnesses yourself if you wish. So
that's
there is
awesome,
that.
Kitty Girl. Thank you for that.
Yeah, it's pretty important that you do vote. I know that initially when your HP is low, it seems like your vote doesn't really matter, but your HP is going to grow, and we've actually seen proof in the pudding that when the community comes together and expresses their views, no matter how small you are, you become part of those. You know, there was a situation on the previous chain where a very large supporter dropped his support for Agrode, and Agrode appealed to the community because it dropped him out of the top 20. He appealed to the community to see if they would support him back up, and he didn't get back as high as he was, but he got back into the top 20 because the small accounts came together and said, yeah, he's doing stuff for the community, we're going to vote for him. Yeah, that's the whole purpose of being a witness, is you're running a server. Ah, that works really well in creative work hour. I'm not sure how many people even know what Roman Obsidian is in this group.
I didn't read the room. I meant to tag Kara because she knows both of those programs.
Yeah.
But I didn't do a very good job with that before I hit enter. But I got so
wow.
excited. Like, whatever the hell it means, I don't know. But I got to port 14. Woo-hoo-hoo!
Alexander's just after being one of the ports. It's actually kind of interesting to explore through the witnesses because most of them are doing things on the chain. They're running projects of some sort. And they are members of our community, so it's good to know what they're doing. Any other questions about witnesses?
And we also have a few witnesses, like Ingenuity, that isn't really running a project on chain per se, other than the pimp token thing. But he is a community witness. He spends so much of his time visiting different communities and helping them thrive and grow and giving them support. So, yeah,
And who is
the
that,
witnesses that
April?
aren't devs can do a lot of good for the community too.
You see him in here as Crypto Pimp, Alessandra.
Okay.
He's behind the pimp token that Kitty Girl distributes for.
Okay, so let me make sure I know how to spell his handle.
Engine and Witty.
Oh, it's Ingenuity. Ah.
Yeah, it looks like
Ingenuity
and a lot of people, we do call him Witty or Engine, but yeah, he pronounces it Ingenuity, which I think is really cool.
Oh, I see that now. You could have never mind.
And that does kind of bring up a bit of a point because yes, a lot of the witnesses are running projects on the chain, but there are some that are doing things behind the scenes that you don't always know. So it's good to
Those
ask
are
around.
voluntary positions.
They are. The witnesses do receive income for each block that they witness. But the thing of it is that the top 20 will witness the majority of the blocks, and then it reduces the amount the further down the list they go. So
when do we vote? Are there particular times of year, or if you have the ability to vote, you vote?
If you have the ability to vote, you vote.
Oh, I didn't know what I was waiting on.
You're not waiting. You don't need to wait. Just go and vote. Go down the list. Actually, usually what I try to do, and I don't always remember, but I do try about every 3 months, I take a look over the list of who I'm voting for, and I take a look at some of them to see, just to kind of see if there's any updates on what they've been doing or haven't been doing. Kind of poke around a little bit. And then I take a look at some of the names that have been popping up, but I haven't really paid a lot of attention to, and I go see what they're doing. And if I think that maybe they're doing some pretty decent stuff, and I haven't got any votes available, I'll move some votes around.
And so,
yeah, that's one of the beauties. You can unvote a witness anytime you want and move that vote to someone else. It's a fantastic system.
That's fascinating.
They did also finally bring in, because we've got this situation where if you leave the chain and you're gone for a couple of years, that witness still benefits from the vote that you put there, even though you're not there, don't care. Okay? So they've now made it that the votes will age out. And it's what, a year, kitty girl?
Yes, it is 1 year.
Yeah.
If you don't do any witness voting at all in a year, your votes suddenly go away. But if you change a witness vote or whatever, anytime within a year, then it refreshes all of your votes.
So what was that trick, kitty girl, that you said we can go somewhere and scroll
You
down to
can
the
go
bottom
to
and assign a proxy?
hive.blog and then click the little hamburger icon. It looks like 3 stacked lines in the upper right.
Yep.
And click on witnesses, scroll to the bottom of that page, and there's a text box. You can put in anyone you want for a proxy.
Thank you so much.
And unfortunately, hive.blog is the only one of our front ends that currently has the ability to set a proxy. I don't know why the others haven't added it. I'm really shocked that PYPT hasn't,
Yeah,
because
that
they're
is surprising.
PYPT is usually on top of things before any other front end does it.
And you'd
It's
think
amazing.
that with the proxies being available right from the start of the chain, that they would have made that a basic part of their design.
Yeah, very true.
And it's not a new feature. So we
It's a
do get
design thinking omission.
either that
Well,
or
it's
they just
probably because so few people ask about the proxy option, maybe why they never added it. I don't know.
probably that people don't even know. Up, Pravesh says it does. PYPT does have it.
Oh, okay, cool. Thank you very much, Pravesh. I appreciate that.
Good to
Pravesh is
see.
quick on the visuals.
Yep. And Kara, you won the 5 HBI. There you go. You're up 5 for when you get back to writing.
That's a good question. Brendan has asked, if you have a proxy set, do you need to refresh that every year? Yes, you do. So once a year, you need to remove your proxy and add it back.
Do you, or does
start,
it? I think the person that you've proxied to has to actually vote within the year.
Oh, that's a good point. Duh. Yeah, it's so as long as your proxy has remained active, you're okay.
Yeah, if you do have a proxy, that you do want to check that they're remaining active. They're not doing much good for you.
I didn't think that one through before I spat out an answer. Thank you, Shadows.
Yeah, it becomes kind of an automatic refresh once the proxy votes. But I was really happy when they brought that in because we argued about it for a long time trying to get it in. There were a lot of witnesses
We
who were pushing
argued for
it.
that for at least 2 years, if not 3 years or
Yep.
4. Yeah, it was a long topic to get involved, to get approved.
There were a lot of witnesses, needless to say, the top witnesses, because they had those big votes that they didn't want to take the chance of having age out, kind of argued against it. And the other benefit that had is that when a witness stops acting as witness, as long as those votes are on, they stay in the list. But once their votes start to age out, then they drop down the list, and you get a fresher list again. So it just made sense all the way around to do it. Okay. You've been listening to Shadows Pub host, Pimp Your Post Thursday. Thank you for joining us on PYPT, and join us next Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Until then, keep on creating, and yep, it's all about community. And oh yeah, bye Wilma.
Well,